This is level J and we're on to list 1 and we're doing the day one. So our words are oil, boil, foil, toil, coil, coin, join, soil, spoil, oink. So the OI is making the oi sound in these words. So we use OI at the start or in the middle of a word, and we use OY at the end of a word. We wouldn't use OI at the end of a word because we don't like English words to end with an I. That's why we must change between the two. We wouldn't use OY in the middle of many words because we don't like Y's in the middle of words. So let's look at what these words mean. You can colour the OI in all of those words. Oh, and the other thing I must point out to you too is that after a long vowel sound, oi is a long vowel sound, we only put one L. If it was a short vowel sound, we could put two L's, but it's a long vowel sound. Just be careful here too on the oink. Sometimes children like to put a little C in before that K. You can have NK and you can have CK, but you can never have NCK. And you can have NG, but you can never have NGK. So it wouldn't be a G or a C in there, it's just the NK. So what is oil? Oil is something that you might use in the kitchen when you're cooking, or Dad might use it, put some oil in the car. We often use oil to make machines run a bit more smoothly. Boil is when you cook something on the stove and it bubbles. When the liquid bubbles, it's boiling. Foil is a silver paper that we often use in cooking or to wrap up food. Toil means to work. So like the 7 dwarfs would go off to the mines and toil all day. Coil could be a spring, or when you think of a snake coiled up on the ground, it's in a spiral shape, that would be a coil. Coin is money. Join is when you join two things together. Soil is what we plant plants into. It's the dirt, the ground beneath us. Spoil might be when something goes off. So when the milk is bad or gone off, we say it's spoilt. It can also mean that your things, something nice, like your grandparents might spoil you when you visit them. It means they treat you especially well. Oink is the sound that a pig makes. Okay, so let's look at reading these words, sounding them, spelling them 3 times, writing them 3 times, and then checking them at the end to make sure that they're right. So we go oil, O-I-L. So we're going to do it 3 times. Oil, 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 O-I-L, O-I-L, O-I-L. Write it 3 times, make sure you've covered it. And then go back and check. Let's do one more. Boil, b-oil, b-oil, b-oil. B-O-I-L, B-O-I-L, B-O-I-L. Cover it. Write it. And you can check it as you go along. If you make a mistake, rub it out and start it all over again. This is level J, list 1, and we're doing day 2. With the oi sound. So OI we use in the middle or the start of a word for the oi sound, and we quite often use OY at the end of a word or the end of a syllable. So let's read the words. We've got oil, boil, foil, toil, coil, coin, join, oil, soil, spoil, and oink. So today it's all about the meanings of these words, because it's not much point in learning how to spell a word if you don't know what it means. So the sound a pig makes, you can probably work out what that one is. Oink. A spring is like a coil. Money could be a coin. A layer of earth would be soil, of course. To work hard is to toil. To heat water until it bubbles is to boil. To connect. join, to destroy something is to spoil it. A liquid used in cooking and cars would be oil, and thin silver paper would be oil. So you have to write those words next to all those meanings. Then down the bottom it's got write 2 sentences to show the different meanings of soil. So soil could be both a verb and a noun. If it's a verb, it means to make, soil means to make something dirty. So you might say, Mum might say to you, oh, take your jumper off, you've soiled it. It means you've got dirt on it. Whereas soil, the noun, is a thing. It's something that we plant plants into, or we might dampen the soil before we, so the dust doesn't blow everywhere. So it's the ground underneath us. Fill in the missing list word. I have something on my skin. We want to something the sporting club. The baby might something its nappy. The clever man will something the robbers attempt to steal. And the farmer used a something of wire to mend the fence. Now don't forget, boil can be like a lump that you can get on your skin. So it's very important we eat lots of veggies so we don't get boils, but they can be quite painful. It's a very red and sore lump that we get on our skins. Okay, this is level J, list 1, and we're doing the day 3. So we're really looking at all our word extensions now. So you know that, let's have a look at these words. We've got the oi sound, OI for the oi sound. So we use OI usually at the start of not many words, like oil, but it's usually in the middle of words because we don't like to write OY in the middle of words because we don't like Y's in the middle of words. There are only a couple of words where we have OY in the middle, and that's loyal and royal and oyster. Oh, it's at the start. It's because you can have it at the end of a syllable, the rule says. So if it's at the end of a syllable, you can sometimes hear the OY being used or see the OY being used for the oi sound. Now in these ones, oil, you've got the OI and you've got an L. Because that's a long sound, you're only putting one L at the end of the base word. Boil, foil, toil, coil. And soil, spoil. Now here in oink, remember we can have only NK, we can have CK, or we can have NG, but we never have those three letters combined. So we wouldn't have NGK or NCK. It's only ever going to be NK. Nk at the end of word is NK. Now we know here we're using the C before the O because when we have a C followed by an A, O, U, L or R, we know to use a C before it for the hard K sound. That's about all I think we've got hidden in there. We've got the same thing happening here because of that O. It's tells us to use the C for the K sound. So let's read the words down the words, spell the words and write them, and then we can go on and look at the rest of our page. So we've got oil, oi, ool, O-I-L, cover it and write. Quite a nice easy list to look, say the word, spell the word, write it and check it. Okay, these are verbs, so we know oil, boil, spoil, join and spoil can be verbs. And we're using them in their different tenses here. So here you're adding the S, the ing, and here it's either ed or t. So you'd have oiled with the ed, boiled, you can hear the d sound coming through in the ed, joined. So because we're talking about join as a verb here, we know we're adding the ed. If it was a noun, it would be joint. Like I can see the joint in the woodwork or in the table. Or I've hurt a joint in my body. So that would be the noun. These are verbs, so we're adding the ed here. Now spoil, you'd have spoil, spoil, spoiling, spoilt. Here, so you are putting the T on the end of that one. We're not doubling the letter here in any of these. when we add the ing, because we've got a long vowel sound before that last consonant. So we don't need to double the last letter before we add the ing. Now, so here you're just going to write the base word, and then that makes it easier to fill in the other columns. Down the bottom it says fill in the gaps with the missing list word or extension. So the chips were too something for my liking. Now, remember, it could be one of these words with an extension on it. So you might say the chips were too oily. And you know the E sound on the end of a word, we commonly use a Y for the E sound on the end of a word. The snake was something around the log. The snake was coiled around the log. So you're going to have to work out what that extension is in each of the sentences. It could differ, and it really does. You do need to look carefully because it will differ in every sentence. Combined with a list word, a something leak, there's a hint for you, and a dollar something, and there's a hint for you. This is level J, list 1, and we're looking at the day 4. Here we're introducing the singular possessive apostrophe, and this is possessive Pete, and everything is mine, 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 he's saying. So singular possessive noun shows ownership and has an apostrophe. So if you have one of something, then you put the apostrophe at the end of the base word. So you might have a cat, the cat's tail. You're not saying there's lots of cats, you're saying there's only one cat. So to indicate that there is only one, we put the apostrophe at the end of the base word, and then the only reason that S is there is because it would sound funny if you said the cat tail. You want to say the cat's tail. So we're saying the tail belongs to the cat, and that's the possessive apostrophe we put in there. So if you look at Pete's parrot, there's only one Pete. If you saw Pete, you'd say, hi Pete, you wouldn't say hi Pete's. So to indicate that Pete is his name, there's only one of him, and so we'll highlight that base word to show that there's only one of him. Now we're saying the parrot belongs to Pete, that's why the apostrophe goes in after the base word. Pete's hook, Pete's peg leg. The apostrophe always goes at the end of the base word. So add an apostrophe and an S, apostrophe S, to make the noun possessive. So if we're writing Kathy's doll, there's only one Kathy. We wouldn't say hi Kathy's, we'd say hi Kathy. So there's only one Kathy, and we're talking about the doll belonging to her. So we'd have to put the apostrophe at the end of the base word. There's only one Kathy, so it goes after the Y, and then we add the S, and that's saying the doll belongs to Kathy. So we'd have Claire's colouring pencil. There's only one Claire, so Claire is the base word. So the apostrophe goes at the end of the base word, and then we add the S. Now down the bottom it says, fill in the apostrophe S and rewrite the word showing possession. I wanted to return Amy's toy. There's only one Amy, so Amy is the base word. We put the apostrophe and then the S. And that tells us the toy belongs to Amy. Not that there's lots of Amy's. I wanted to return Amy's toy after I had used it. Now the word that you put the apostrophe is the word that you write at the end here. Down the bottom down here it says oi or oi. Now you probably have worked out that we can use OY at the end of a word or syllable, and we can use OI at the start or in the middle of a word. This could also be at the start of a word like oyster, but that's the only word, really. So using those two clues, hopefully you'll find it easy to fill in the gap. So let's go. If it's at the start of a word or in the middle of a word, we're going to use OI. If it's at the end of a word or syllable, we use OY. OY. So once you've filled all of those in, go back and highlight them. to match the colours. So the OI ones we're making blue, and the OY ones we're making red. And then when it's time to write them, it's easy to see where they go. All the red ones go here, all the blue ones go there.